Hello and welcome to the latest video in our Getting Started with O&M Profiler series. In every area of the system we've visited so far, we've seen additional information dashboards. And this session, I'm going to focus on these and give you a couple of user stories for potential usage and just show you some of the power of those AI dashboards. Let's start in our existing pension switch. So I'm going to load up the one we've been dealing with and have a look at results. Okay, so we've already talked about some of the things we can do with additional information. We've talked about changing dashboards, looking at extra detail on particular sections. We've talked about using quick compare to go full screen. And we've talked about zooming panels, exporting the data, and also looking at the data behind the chart. What we're going to do this session is have a look at some of the things, some of the extra power we've got in additional dashboards that we haven't talked about yet. So let's close that down. So first things first, it's great when we're in quick compare and we can see all 12 of the panels on my resolution. You might see a few less, you might see more even. But what about if when you're on the main list and this is particular 5-year CER panel is one you want to look at? Well, simply done. You can just drag them to where you want them to be. You can keep the additional growth. And then I've got a different top 4 row now. So when I turn quick compare off and flick through the list, I can see the 4 panels that I want to see without having to go into quick compare whilst I'm making my decision. So that's very simple. You can easily drag them around, rearrange them. You can also completely get rid of panels if you don't want to use them. So let's say I'm never going to use the additional growth rate matrix. I don't have that in my workflow. Just click on the cross and it's gone. There will be other scenarios though where you perhaps want to create a brand new dashboard for a different scenario. Let's say you've got a compliance team that checks all of your switch quotes. At the minute they're going through a 12-page switching quote and they're picking out 4 or 5 numbers. Well, with the new system, you can create a report just for them that only contains the information they care about. So let's have a look at doing that. Now the easiest thing to do when you're designing a dashboard is to go full screen. So we've looked at quick compare and keeping just a couple of rows, but you'll see also we've got maximize and minimize options here. If I go full screen, I can't see the products behind the list anymore now, but I don't need to because I'm just setting up a dashboard that I'm going to use again and again in different scenarios. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can either base it on an existing one. So you could tweak this one to get it to look like what you want it to look like. Move that one at the top, get rid of a couple others, and then create a dashboard based on the current layout. Could do that, and then I could reset that one back to its default so that it's there. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to create an entirely blank one just for our compliance people. Let's give it a name. So this is going to be our compliance dashboard. Now dashboards work in 2 ways. They're available on screen, but they're also available as a report. So anything you create in an additional dashboard becomes a report in the top section of the screen as well. So you don't even need to view it. You can just every time print the compliance one and send it on. Or if they've got access themselves, they can go in and do it. So let's add in some slides. Now, if you know what type of data you want to pull in, whether it's a chart, a table, or an indicator, as we call them, the single-digit slides, you can pick them from that list. Or you can go into the slide picker, which gives you a full list of all of the panels available, and you can filter that down simply by typing in that list. So I want the client details. Now don't worry if you don't know the name of the panel you're looking for. It's very easy to just add them in, take them out, you keep going, just keep tweaking it, and of course we're happy to help as well. So the ones that my compliance team want, they want the additional growth required after inflation. They want the past performance chart. And they want the results list. So I'm going to use my pension switching results, and the reason I'm going to use that one is because I can customize the content of it. So let's add that slide in. Excellent. So it doesn't look very pretty on screen because it's only fitting in a small window. If you want to see what's in there, you can zoom it and you can see the bits of info. And these columns here you can customize. So let's close that down and I'll show you how to do that. We'll go back to our normal view So not minimized, but the bottom half of the screen. And this, my pension switching results, is the same as this grid here. And if you want to change it, simply click on Actions, change my pension switching results, and tick the 6 columns that you want. So remove the ones you don't want, add in the ones you do want. So let me change that dashboard back to pension switching. Now personally, I'm never going to use the compliance one as a view on screen. I'm only going to use it as a report. So let's head into reports, new report, and it's not in my favorited list at the top because I've just created it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down to compliance, stick a favorite in there. It'll now be at the top here, and every time I do a switching report, I can print the switching report and the compliance report and send that one on to the team. And there we go. There's our compliance report. It's got the client information, it's got the AGR, past performance, and the results list. That's exactly what my compliance team want, and they now don't have to go through the switching report picking out bits of information. Let's have a look at another scenario. And this particular one's in fund research. So let's go in the fund research and have a look at the AI there. Excellent. So let's remember my previous search, but what I want to do is I want to have a look at fund availability. So this is a built-in dashboard, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit to suit my needs. And again, let's go full screen so we can see everything we're using. It's quite a useful dashboard straight out of the box. It tells us different versions of that fund, whether it be life, pensions or siblings and what have you. It also tells us which portfolios we've got set up that use this fund, so that's useful. But there's an extra panel that I really like that I'm going to add in. And that one is the pension products. Now what this one does, if we zoom it, it'll give us a bit more of an idea. It shows us which version of the fund is available across which products and how much it costs and what growth rates they use for new business illustrations. So you can export that, you can print that, you can put it in Excel, you can do whatever you want with it. But for me, what I want is I want that readily available when I'm doing fund research. So let's move that up to the top like we saw before. And the other thing I want to see when I'm looking at funds is I want to see the current price and a little bit of background information about it. So I'm going to add in the key facts. There we go. And again, I want that one front and center. So let's go back to our normal view. And the reason I've set up this particular view is that I'm going to use it when I try and identify the current funds of the existing plan. So let's reset the search. So we go into criteria, clear all. And then I'm going to look for Fidelity Money Builder. Okay, so I'm going to try and work out which version of this Fidelity Money Builder balanced my client is invested in. So I normally start with the primary share class. You can see that in the last column. Let's pick that one. I can see the price now, so that's always a good indication. And I can see that there's a version available, and it's generally the Y version. Let's say the product I'm looking at is Funds Network. Then they've got the Y version available, Akin Inc. And I can see from the charges which version it is. So it's just a way of helping me identify the existing fund using lots of different information, but all in one view. Because additional information is available throughout the system, there's loads of different uses. It's really limited by your imagination. There's lots of data panels. There's lots of different sections of the system. You might come up with a scenario that we've never thought of. That's the power of it. You can then go in and create your own dashboard and use it whenever you want, or use it as a print when you want to do that. The other thing that's worth bearing in mind about the printed reports is if you're on the professional version of the system, those are all editable reports. So it might be that you want to use it as the basis for a particular letter to the client, and you want to pull out just some core information from our system, but then add your own commentary in. And you just load the report up, go into edit mode and start typing. Okay, hopefully you've seen some uses for additional information in there, but if you've got any additional questions, of course, give us a shout and our support team or our trainers will be happy to help. Thanks for watching.